Smoke signals from around the campfire.
How are we all feeling? Because it's been a bit of a... You've had a wonderful time here, I imagine, but it's been an insane, crazy week out there in the world. And I don't think I've ever known a week that's been quite so difficult to get my head round as this week. So how can I just have some feelings? How are you feeling at the moment?
Grief-stricken.
Angry?
Upset.
Hopeful? Tired? Ugly?
Moved.
Pissed off, overwhelmed, okay. Yeah, I was in Leicester this week and I tried this poem for the first time. I put it out online earlier in the week, and I actually put it out online before all the recent proroguing, which I can't pronounce properly, happened. But it's still, I think, so it's even a little bit dated after a whole week. But I did it in Leicester and I got everyone to do a call and response. And I think I just checked that you were all kind of, there was no right-wing Boris supporters here. And I was sure there probably wasn't. But if there is, you don't have to join in, okay? It's totally cool. But if you're not, then you might like to join in. It's kind of a bit of a magical spell, so I've even brought a wand.
We like wands.
I know, I did this in kind of urban Leicester, and they got into it, so you know. So when I point this wand at you, I'm going to say, I cast you out, and you're going to say, we cast you out, okay? So we're doing kind of a magical spell. So when I go, I cast you out, you shout,
we cast you out.
Yeah, that's kind of, let's do it with a bit more like, passion. I cast you out.
We cast you out.
Awesome, okay. And the one other bit that you need to know is there's a line where I say, I don't believe in you, and you say, we don't believe in you, okay? So I don't believe in you.
We don't believe in you.
Excellent. Okay, we're going to try this?
Let's go for it.
This is called I Cast You Out. I don't know what else to say about this, but it is a spell against some of the more narcissistic characters of our time, and it is a suggestion that perhaps it'd be more wonderful to talk about the amazing heroic characters in this time. So, Boris, yeah, I can't hear you. No, I'm not listening anymore. I don't care what horrors or wonders are in store. I'm sitting on the floor with my back against the door. Some garden centre leaflets, pizza vouchers in my lap. It's all more interesting than you. That tiny money spider making its 8-legged scuttle across the battered leather of my shoe is more awe-inspiring and less urge-inducing than anything you can ever do. You are a snake charmer in Eton armour. Your mop-top hair is meh. There are 100,000 million better blondes out there. Your USP would wilt in the wind next to the lion's mane magnificence of German sea captain Pia Klemp, saving refugees from Libya's coast. She is sexy like Mad Max. You are flaccid like raising the threshold of the wealthy's income tax. I don't want you in my feeds. My verges are wildflowers. You are mown down weeds. Less Boris, more trees. I cast you out.
We cast you out.
With every bit of my indifference to your charm. I cast you out with a middle finger of my right arm. I cast you out like a plucky underling doffing a sarcastic cap to a foppish squire. I cast you out like the constituents of Brecon and Radnanshire. I cast you out.
We cast you out.
Like this carbon neutral scheme to bring efficient cookers to Uganda. I cast you out like this recycling bin full of soggy Brexit propaganda. I cast you out with all the inconsistencies and Boris buses you cannot hide. I cast you out with the humanity you have fracked out of this nation's pride. I cast you out.
We cast you out.
With this kipper, don't let it slap you on the back. Cher Bolsonaro, you are the stupidest man to ever try to breathe. Burning down the Amazon is the Darwin Award's greatest overachieve. You might try to kill our air, drive the natural world into a zoo, but I tell you, Mr. Impotent Firestarter, snowflakes can put out infernos too. I cast you out.
We cast you out.
With this burning ember in your money, I cast you out with the screams of 1,000 tigers, a million monkeys, 10 million trees. Let them haunt your eyes and howl like ghost trains through your dreams. I cast you out.
We cast you out.
Farage, eye of newt, face of frog, milk of shake. You are senseless static. My interest has peaked at its demise. You are lager soaked in lies. I turn around in slow motion and sip my banana smoothie without peeking. Your mouth is moving, but I can't hear you speaking. I cast you out.
We cast you out.
Into the Atlantic Ocean without a raft or EU-sanctioned regulations or any help from the United Nations. I cast you out to a time when Royal Britannia ruled the waves and most normal blokes were right-wing slaves who died in gutters of pox, pustule, plague. I cast you out.
We cast you out.
Hopkins, Leadsom, Mogg, Morgan, Cummings, Brewer, the nothing from the never-ending stories is raging through your Twitter sewers. No one's looking, no one cares, no one knows what you were for. I don't believe in you.
We don't believe in you.
Delete, delete, ignore, ignore. Aaron Banks, I cast you out with Greta Thunberg's courage, a force so potent it lures the demon to your eyes. Old white men who take pot shots at heroic teenagers should be properly exorcised. I cast you out.
We cast you out.
Trump, last on the list, not to be forgotten, barely to be missed. You are Hitler's stagnant bile. I cast you out with the twinkle in Michelle Obama's smile. I cast you out with the song of the lark in trembling flight. A plague on your golden tower, a blast on your mirrored sight. Remember, fake tan does not show up in the nuclear winter night. I cast you out with all the power that's inside of me. With every mountain, every tree, every witch hunt that rode the spine of my ancestry. I cast you out with every acorn, every veg box, every bee. With every broken heart of every refugee. I cast you out with everybody who is fighting for this planet and humanity. With the hex of this X in this box, on this ballot, with this pencil, on this tiny piece of string. I cast you out with this poem, with this mantra, with this moment that you can sing. I cast you out.
We cast you out.
I cast you out.
We cast you out.
I cast you out.
We cast you out.
May your teeth splinter with every lie. Here's blood on your hands. Here's love for your heart. Here's salt in your eye.
Oh.
That's a lot of fun. So, all my poems at the moment seem to be very full-on and emotional because it's a full-on and emotional time. So there are good things about the internet as well as bad things about social media. In May, I wrote this poem. I've been sitting up every night reading the news and putting my daughter to bed and just being really overwhelmed by this fear of the future and what was going to happen. And I'm really sensing that, particularly from parents. So I wrote this poem and I put it out on Facebook. And someone really kindly said, I love that, I'm going to film it. And they went out into the woods. We went out to the woods the next day and we filmed it. And now it's been seen by 70,000 people around the world.
Wow.
And I've been contacted by people from all over the world. It's been used in a protest in Australia against a power station. It's being made into a big multimedia piece for Philadelphia's main concert hall. It's been incredible. And I'm going to read that one to you, and then I'm going to let you do what you do. But this is that poem, and it's called The Human Emergency. It's getting late. Almost 8:30 on a Tuesday, and my nose is in my daughter's hair again. A forest of sweet jasmine creepers, my tears, salty rain, dripping from her bright green leaves. Why are you crying, Mummy, she says, flinging her spaghetti arms around my neck. I can't breathe. I just read something sad on the news, I say. Peel her sticky fingers from her face, shake her off, look away from the blue-grey trust in her eyes. Now reflected on the tiny screen in my hand, where I can still see David Attenborough's furrowed brows. Oil fields, coal mines, gas lines, pumping clouds of stupidity into the earth's storm-sodden hanky, leaving blood-stained tar in the creases where blue sky meets infinite space, in this place where oceans press plastic kisses to the shore. I try to smile, try to say, nothing for you to worry about, my love. But the lie is so big, it fattens my tongue, so I bury my face in her warm skin and breathe her life back into my body, into my bones, into my mother and her mother before, teachers, tailors, scullery maids, back until she's just a link in the chain, not the end of the line, not the last of our kind, not her. And then back even further to the beginning of everything, when we crawled out of the oceans and onto the shore to sit hand in hand under the moon with the mother of us all. And I know one day soon she'll discover the world we have left her. They'll teach her in school the slush puppy icebergs, pilloried oceans, species extinction, sun-boiling bats. She'll see that big graph and the prognosis, and that will be that. Run home through the May blossom sun on her face to ask me the truth about our flatlining race. But I'm not a scientist. I'm just a mum, and I'm more scared of that moment than any other to come, because the truth in the hands of despair is as good as a gun. And how can I give her the world just to take it away? You see, I was 5 years old once, clutching my Christingle orange with the jelly tots on cocktail sticks. And I slid open the bathroom door to see my dad at the sink. And picking at the wood chip on the wall, I said, "Dad, Dad, Dad, is there a God?" And he looks at me, fog on his glasses disguising his face, the weight of my question, the smell of citrus between me and his answer. 1 second, nothing. 2 seconds, he briefly considers. But he is a man of truth and of science. He rests his mug of tea on a brief history of time, and he watches Discovery until 9:30 every night, and he is always, always, always right. 3 seconds. He lifts his toothbrush to his lips, scratches his head. "No," he says gently. And with that tiny word, God is dead. I take my no into the hall, into my life. I carry it now to this day. It's with me right now. But it's never served me that well. Or him, for that matter. 30 years all alone in the house where we left and never came back to. Me, my brother, my mum, and even the cat didn't come back. He just sits every night on his own with his no and his science. And I know if I were to call him right now and say, "Dad, Dad, is the human race over? Is there still any hope?" He would raise his pipe to his toothless gums and say, "Nope," and continue to smoke. And you know, that might be the truth, but it's not a good answer. And there may not be a God, but I know there is something, powerful magic that weaves all our lives, that loves us and pokes us and wants to evolve and survive. So when she asked me that question about the future of life on this earth, "Dad, I've weighed up your truth, and I don't query the facts, but I question their worth. Isn't it better to say, it's incredibly scary, it's as bad as they say, but you are alive, and you are a miracle, and you know that has to mean something, and we might be standing at the moment where everything ends, but your generation has the power to save the whole world, and I'm going to help you, because I've got your back, and I am a miracle too, and guess what? There is something out there more courageous and potent than science, and I believe it will help us, because I've felt it, and I've touched it, and I've seen it in you. Thank you. I was extra cracking up today because my daughter's actually in here. I've got a few books and I've got a few illustrated copies of that poem if anyone's interested, but you don't have to, but come and chat to me. And yeah. Oh, my daughter's here.